friends. It's been a while. I really haven't had much of anything to think of doing a topic, but I thought I'd go a little light this time. We all know there's a lot going on in the world right now. It's a lot to handle. I'm personally getting probably too much social media. I'm getting a little bit stressed out. Every time I go on social media or something, there's something about all of my colleagues and friends talking about the schools reopening, and people talking about drawing up their wills, and what if they get sick and this and that. And I'm like, nope, done with that. I just can't. I'm just tired of worrying about going back and maybe getting sick or getting one of my students sick or one of my loved ones sick. And it's just like, it's a lot. There's a lot of pain and suffering going on right now in our country, and it's a lot for all of us to deal with. So I thought that I would just do a topic that's lighter, that's more superficial, to kind of get our minds off of all of the craziness that's going on right now. So I'm going to share with you guys my experience with facial acupuncture that I've been getting done first. But I'm going to go back a little bit and talk about my history with Botox first. And if you guys ever watched my first video, the pros and cons of middle age, I talk a little bit about getting Botox in there. I actually never got Botox, but there's different brands out there. What I was getting was called Xeomin, but for the sake of just easier to talk about, I'm just going to say Botox because it's all the same thing. So before I started getting it, the reason I wanted to get it is, and I talked about this again in that video, was this really deep frown line that I have that really bothers me. And that was the reason I wanted to try Botox. And so it was probably over a year ago that I started getting it. I ended up getting it for about a year. I would go every 3 to 4 months and get it for a year or two, a little over a year. And I'm going to show you guys some before pictures because the reason I stopped getting it was because it was giving me freaky eyebrows, and I know that it works, and I still kind of have remnants of it. They're not too bad right now, but my eyebrows are not normally this arched, and hopefully they don't look too freakish right now. But I'm going to show you guys some pictures of my brows 2 to 4 weeks after getting the injections each time, and it was not a good look. I mean, I know it works well for a lot of people. I have a couple of friends who have it done, and they look fabulous. It didn't do weird things to their brows, but me, no. So I will show you. Okay, and I'm looking at my notes here because if I don't, then I forget what I'm going to say. Okay, so I'm going to show you a few pictures of my brows before, and I always struggle with this. I need to figure out how to set my camera up so that it actually, what I'm seeing is not flipped, so I don't get so confused. But anyway, anytime I plan to put a picture or whatever this way, yeah, I'll move over so I have room to talk about the pictures. So here are some pictures of my brows before getting Botox. And as you can see, my brows are pretty straight. Like they didn't have much of an arch in them, maybe a tiny bit, and they are already, like, the slight arch is already toward the outer edge of my brow, which really I think is what made me prone to the Spock brows that I ended up getting. So, but yeah, you can see that in before pictures, my brows are pretty straight. So what I've got right now, that's not like really the natural shape of my brows. And then even in, I'm going to share this picture here. This is after I've started getting it, but it was probably either like a very early treatment or it was getting close to wearing off, because you can still see that the brow and is not that arched here. Okay, so but as I was going on, they just, okay, so the first time I went in, I noticed this arch, and my husband said something about it. He's like, your eyebrows are not quite right. And so, and I'd asked the nurse who did it, I said, you know, I really just want it for my frown line. I don't care about the wrinkles in my forehead. It's just, I would like to have something done for this frown line. But she said, well, I can't just do it right here. It'll look weird. I'm going to have to do some spots up here to balance the muscles and everything. So I was like, okay, you know, and I watch on YouTube, she reviews beauty products and beauty procedures, and many of you may have heard of her, Angie Hot and Flashy. And she said that when she gets it, she just gets it for a little bit here and then a little bit in the center, and that's all she gets. And so after my first treatment, when I noticed my brows were kind of like not doing what I wanted them to do, I mentioned this to her. And so she's like, okay, well, I can bring the injections down a little bit, down a little bit further in your forehead to adjust for that. But she still did up here because she still didn't think that doing this right here was a good idea. And I found it just seemed like with each treatment I was getting, yeah, my frown line was starting to soften over time, but my eyebrows just kept getting higher and more arched, and they arched out this way. So yeah, here's the picture of, like, this is from like one of my earlier YouTube videos. You can see what is going on with my eyebrows here, and it's very clearly very Spockish looking, and I didn't notice it that much, like when I'm looking in the mirror and stuff, but like in pictures and stuff, I was like, oh wow, that's really not good. So with each one, like I said, I just felt like they were just getting worse. And then, but like after my last one, which I had it was right before the quarantine. So this was probably like early to mid-March. I just felt like I was looking like Rachel Dratch. And just go with it, where she's talking and her eyebrow just keeps getting higher and higher. And I'm like, I can't have that. No, I'm just gonna have to live with the frown line, because this is just not right. I mean, if it had been more like a natural arch, like with what my girlfriend had, I'd never noticed that with her having that. So it's probably just the shape of my brows, and I was doing some reading up on it with different dermatologists, and they were saying, yeah, just depending on your muscle placement in your face and blah 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 and all this stuff, that can be a result of Botox, and even when the nurse or the injector tries to, you know, correct for it. And I just found it was just getting worse and worse. So I was like, no, I'm not doing that anymore. And like I said, I still feel like I have, you can see, like when I look straight on, I still kind of have that Spock look to my brows that I didn't have before. So I don't remember how I stumbled upon it, but I actually came upon the idea of facial acupuncture. So I thought, I wonder about that. So I started watching YouTube videos about that, and watched quite a few. And I guess it's been used in the East, you know, for thousands of years, actually, not just for medical ailments, but also to make the skin look better. And I've had acupuncture before for aches and pains, but you know, never anything. I didn't even know that you could get it for cosmetic reasons. So I thought, okay, well, I'm gonna try it. And I've only have it, you know, it's too early to know what, for me right now, what it's doing for me. The jury's still out, because all of the videos that I watched, well, not all of them, but most of them recommended that you get at least 10 treatments before you know, really start to see a difference, and then you can just get maintenance after that. So I thought I'd just share a little bit of my experience with that with you guys so far, and then maybe, you know, I'll come back to it later and show some before and after pictures or something like that to you know, see whether or not it made much of a difference. Obviously, facial acupuncture is not going to give you the immediate results that that Botox will, but the idea behind it is that having the needles in your face, that it stimulates your body to create more collagen, more elastin, increases blood flow to your skin. So all of that is good for your skin. And while I still think I have lasting effects from the Botox, so it's kind of hard to tell at this point whether or not you know, the acupuncture is doing anything for my frown lines and things like that. But I do think that I have noticed a difference in like the brightness and the healthiness, the health of my skin so far, just from the 4 treatments. But I'm going to show you guys in a couple minutes a picture of me with the needles in my face. I just went yesterday and had the my doctor take a picture of it for me. But I was just going to tell you guys a little bit about my first visit in there. What I like about at least the doctor I've been going to is she tries to not just address your skin, but other health issues that may be going on with you, and address those as well with the needle placement and her recommendations and things like that. So, but the interesting thing was that the very first time I went in, you know, she asked questions about your health and things like that, just like other doctors would. I did not put in my paperwork any other physical ailments that I've been having. I just put that in there. I was coming to have my frown lines addressed and dark circles, because as I've gotten older, the dark circles under my eyes have gotten really bad. And so that was basically all I put in my paperwork. And so they check your pulse, like 3 different pulses, like that is supposed to be for your different organs and things like that. They look at your tongue, and which I've had before going to acupuncture, those things done, but I've never had anyone look at my ears before. And so she looked at my ears, and she goes, do you have, she goes, I'm seeing that you suffer from low back pain, and do you have digestive issues? Do you have bloating and things like that? And I was like, yeah, I have both of those things. And, you know, I don't know if there's anything to it or not, but when I told my husband that, he's like, I call BS. What person our age doesn't have back pain and bloating issues? So, you know, he doesn't have bloating issues. Yes, he has back pain, but I have like chronic bloating issues. He doesn't. So, I don't know. I've always just been very interested in that sort of thing. I just kind of feel like even if I can't really understand it or explain it, doesn't mean that there's not something to it. It may be a bunch of crap, who knows, you know, I could go either way. But I just thought that was kind of weird, you know, because those are really my 2 main things. Is I wake up with low back pain every morning, and I do, especially since I started menopause, have a lot of problems with stomach problems and bloating and all of that stuff. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. But anyway, so when she places the needles, I counted yesterday because I was never paying attention before. It's about 54, I think I counted 54 needles that she puts in my face, and then one in my head, and then she also will put a few in like one of my arms, so like a couple in my hand, and then one a little bit further up my arm, and then some in one of my legs. And she never explained this to me, but after watching all the videos on YouTube, I learned that is so that it kind of balances the blood flow and the energy, so that it's not all rushing up to your face which, because if they just leave all the needles in your face and no place else, it can cause headaches and dullness. They said things like that. So it is, yeah, it is a lot of needles, and then she just leaves them in there for about a half hour, I'd say. So, so I'm gonna move over here. So here is the picture that she took of me yesterday with all the needles in my face. And you can see, look how freaking dark my eyes are. I mean, and because I've got makeup on here, but I don't put eyeshadow on. She said the first time I went in, she thought I had eyeshadow on because it's so dark around my eyes. So yeah, see how dark my eyes are and see all the needles in my face. That's what she does when I come in. And I'm hoping that over time, I'll see some reduction in that, the dark circles, the darkness around my eyes, because hopefully it will improve the circulation around there. What I plan to do is, like I said, I've had 4 visits so far. I'm gonna have another one next week, and I've been going once a week. And then after my 5th visit, I'm gonna go every 2 weeks until I have 10, and then hopefully I can just go on maintenance, like maybe once a month or something like that afterwards. It is expensive. I priced around before I started seeing my practitioner, and she was actually the most affordable. Some of the places I called their treatments, and they were kind of more like spa places, was like over $200 for one session. The lady I'm going to charges $100 per session. So it ends up being an hour total, because each time she does the pulse check and checks in with me, and, you know, on other things too. So I was paying about, going every 3 to 4 months when I was getting the Botox done. It averaged about probably around $1,200 a year doing that. So I figure once I do these 10 treatments, and then and if I like it, can continue to go once a month, then it would be about the same price, you know, as I was getting with the Botox. And hopefully I can get rid of my Spock eyes with that, because my eyebrows actually naturally more look like, you know, way lower than they are right now. So we'll see what happens. So I just thought, you know, something, like I said, not so heavy and thoughtful and everything to share, because we've got enough of that going on right now, of just, you know, living right now. So just wanted to share with you guys my experience about the facial acupuncture. And as I said, you know, maybe a few months down the road, I'll check back in with you guys again on this and let you know what I thought of the final end result, and whether or not you know, I continue or whatever. So I'm really hoping it will work, because, you know, I was happy with the Botox at first until my eyebrows just kept getting higher and higher, and I was expecting them to kind of be up here at my scalp line pretty soon. So, but anyway, that's the latest with me, aside from just trying to stay mentally healthy and sane and all of this chaos that's going on right now. I hope everybody is taking care of themselves, taking care of your family. Like I said, it's just a hot mess out there right now. So, but we will persevere. We will get to the other side of this thing. It's just a matter of when, and maintaining our sanity in the meantime. So take care, be well, and talk to you guys later. Bye.